Hi everyone, welcome to JavaScript In Depth series. This is the first video of the series where we learn JavaScript through corner cases, where we learn JavaScript through weird parts of JavaScript. We assume that okay, it should work in this way, but it is not in working in the way we wanted. Why is that happening? Through those, through that way, we will learn JavaScript here, right? So, why this playlist? Generally, what happens means you already have the basic understanding of the JavaScript. You know how loops works, you know how functions works, everything. But sometimes you get stuck. Sometimes the JavaScript code is not working in the way you want it. So whenever that happens, you can refer to this playlist. You can get to know JavaScript in depth, so that you can debug more properly. You can make your code behave the way you want. And second thing is, these questions will be asked in the interview a lot because they want to understand how much you know JavaScript, right? So it's going to give you add value to your life a lot. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so then comes the question, since it is the first video, we will start with what is JavaScript. So JavaScript, again, another programming language where you can do normal stuff, right? Where you can write functions and everything. But where it differs is, like, JavaScript is synchronous, and second thing is JavaScript is single threaded. What do I mean by synchronous? Synchronous means step by step execution happens, and single threaded means execution happens in single pace. Single place. There are no multiple threads, are there multiple places where I can run my code parallelly. You have only one place, there only you can run the code. Assume like have been to railway stations where you can buy tickets from multiple multiple sections, right? But in JavaScript you can't do that. You can't buy tickets from multiple places. You have to buy from only one place, right? That is what single threaded means. Okay, so synchronous means step by step. Again, we will have a queue there, right, in the railway station, and you have one person afterwards has to buy the stuff, right, buy the ticket. So same happens here, right? So JavaScript is synchronous and single threaded. What about the asynchronous operations like API calls, promises and all? We will come for that. Okay, and where I can run JavaScript is the next question. I can run JavaScript in browser. Generally, the base thing is you should have the V8 engine, right? If you don't have V8 engine, you can't run JavaScript engine. You should have. If you don't have the JavaScript engine, it's not possible. So browsers by default will have the JavaScript engine. When it comes to Chrome browser, it will have V8 engine. When it comes to Edge, it will have Chakra. Microsoft Edge will have Chakra. Like same way, multiple Firefox has its own JavaScript engine, right? So second thing is, if you are this is browsers, whenever you are running JavaScript, it is related to front end, right? So when you want to run it in the server, what you have to do, you should have something called as Node.js, right? You should install Node.js and you should run through that. And assume you want to run your JavaScript code in a mobile application or watch application or a TV application, then you should have React Native. Using this, you can run the JavaScript code. Now comes the very important part. Who are the players involved in running a JavaScript code? So there are multiple players. The first player is JavaScript engine. Okay. Again, in JavaScript engine, there are multiple players are there. One is call stack. Call stack is the place where the execution happens, where you buy the tickets, right? Train tickets, right? This is where the execution happens. Any function, anything will get executed here, right? And second player is Heap. Heap is for the memory allocation. Whatever the memory is there, get allocated. And I have one reference, for beautiful reference for you for the call stack. So this is for the movie geeks. This is the from the Basha movie. As you can see here, Basha is our hero is the call stack, and these people, or what are functions, right? These are the business owners. They want to run their businesses. These are the functions. Let's assume these are the functions. So if they want their job to be done, they have to get permission. They have to execute without. They can't execute without him. And this everybody. Yeah. So same happens with Vito Corleone from Godfather, right? So yeah, so the same way, call stack is the place where all your functions will get executed. It keeps track of the functions and execution happens there, right? And next comes the interpreter and compiler, right? So the interpreter compiler will convert your JavaScript code into machine level code, which we can understand, right? And then comes something called as garbage collector. So JavaScript has its own garbage collector. Whatever the unnecessary code is there will be collected, will be removed. Whatever the memory is there in the heap will be, in the end after execution, will be cleared out by garbage collector. But in C++ and all, we have to explicitly write code to do the garbage collector stuff, right? But in JavaScript, you don't need to do that. Okay. So now comes the part. Let's take some code and let's so this is one player, right? We just discussed about the JavaScript engine, right? So in the same way, the second player is web API. Web API. So here, as I told you in the beginning, JavaScript is a synchronous programming language, means step-by-step execution happens. Okay, and web API is the place where you can run the asynchronous code. For example, what is asynchronous? Where event is there, right? It may take some time, right? It may take some time. Second thing is API call is there, which will take some time. setTimeout, which will take some time, right, to run. It is not happening in the given time. It's going to be asynchronous, right? So in that case, we will have something called as web API. Okay, this is where the execution happens, right? So let me just list down the things. Set timeout, set interval, okay, and then API calls, and then we will have something called as promises. All these things, all these asynchronous operations will be executed, not executed, it will be run in the web API. These are provided by the web APIs, right? This will be provided by these all functionalities, all the asynchronous operations will be provided by the web APIs. JavaScript engine, JavaScript doesn't have these features: set timeout, set interval, API calls, promises, AJAX, and all this, right? And next comes the third part, that is called as callback queue. Okay, so web API provides me this asynchronous operations, right? And I have only one call stack. I will show you how it works. Okay, and inside the callback queue also we will have something called as micro task and macro task queue. Okay, and then comes the final player, that is event loop. These are the players involved in running the JavaScript code. All these are, because of these people, we can run a particular code, right? So now let's run some code and understand where JavaScript engine will run, where web API will come, where callback queue will come, where event loop will come. Let's take with some corner case. Let's take some weird part in JavaScript, which we think it should work in this way, but it is not working in the way we want, right? So let's come here. So I have this beautiful example. This example has been asked in the interview a lot. Okay, so I have something called as console log start, and I have set timeout of 0, and I have promise and then end. Okay, so generally what a beginner, the person who don't know how JavaScript completely works, will think, okay, console log start will run first. Okay, second, set timeout. Okay, but it is a 0 millisecond, so automatically timeout will run. Third thing, promise dot resolve. So already I am telling resolve the promise. So third thing will be promise, and fourth will be end. So it will be like start, timeout, promise, end. But when I uncomment this code, JavaScript behaving in a different way, right? Start, end, promise, timeout. We thought it will be like start, timeout, promise, end, but it is completely different. First it is saying start and it is saying end, right? And it is saying not timeout, it is saying promise and then timeout. Why it is behaving in this way, right? So let's dig deeper. Let's put it in the JavaScript visualizer. So let me just show you how this will run. Okay, we have this call stack, we have this web APIs, right, where asynchronous operation will happen, and we have the callback queue, and this is the event loop, right? Hope you can see my arrow, event loop, and this is where the execution happens. Everything, whatever the code is there, whatever the functions are there, everything will get executed in the call stack. And I have this event called button click execute some function, and I have the set timeout, and I have the console log high, console log of welcome. Okay, so when I rerun it, see, first event came, it went into web API because, and then set timeout happened. See how beautifully the execution is shown, and then timeout executed and all, and that is all. And event, right, whenever I click, on click function will get triggered and it will do again the same thing. On click function, set timeout, timer will come, it will go to the callback queue, and yeah, see how beautifully it is doing this stuff. This is, I will share this link, you can refer to it. I wanted to run this code also in this website, but it is having some bugs. So I have some called JS visualizer, right? Here also the output is coming the same way, right? Start, end, promise and timeout. And let's see, let's run it again and see how it is behaving. Let me just say run. Okay, so it will run step by step. Now evaluate the script. Okay, synchronously execute the script through it when the function or body runtime until the call stack is empty. Okay, let me just run step 1. So console log of start, that is what our output is, start run, and output came as start. Okay, since this will execute in the call stack. Okay, second is this line of code, 3rd to 5, right? Set timeout. So the thing is, set timeout will go into our callback queue. As I mentioned here, callback queue will have 2 queues, micro task and macro task. Set timeout will be considered into task queue, macro task queue. It will go inside the macro task queue. Promise will go inside the micro task queue. Okay, and now if I do this step, see, set timeout has this function, and it is a anonymous function. So that is why this task queue gets anonymous. It lists on as anonymous, and it is not doing anything. It is just sitting here. Execution is not happening now. Okay, and next step, again anonymous. This is the promise resolve dot, then again I have a anonymous function, right, which says just console log of promise. It will come here. Okay, so now next step, okay, end. Okay, it ran the complete code, but task queue, in micro task queue I have 2 functions. One is set timeout related, which sits in the anonymous function, and micro task queue which sits in the promise contains this. So evaluation of the script happened and running the task happened. Now next thing is what? Run all the micro tasks. Whatever the tasks which are available in the micro task will be given the first priority. And who will give it the first priority? It will be given by the event loop. Event loop is like the traffic inspector. He will say, okay, you go the first, you execute first, you execute next, like that. Okay. And the event loop will see anything is there in micro task queue or not. Okay, I have a promise thing in the micro task queue, so it will get come inside the call stack. And second thing you have to remember is you have to make sure that call stack is empty. Unless and until whatever the things are there in the call stack is not empty, this code will not get the task which are in micro task and macro task will not get executed. Call stack should be empty. Call stack first preferences will be given to synchronous operation, that is console log. If you have functions which are not asynchronous, right, those things will be given the first priority, right? So since nothing is there, it will go and it will execute and I will get the promise. Promise dot resolve means promise got resolved, dot then means okay, successful promise resolved, and then console log the promise. Okay, so this is happened. So after the execution happened, it will get removed from the call stack. Removed. Next step is run the task again. Nothing inside the micro task. So macro task came into picture and it went inside the call stack, right? And then what happens? Execution of the function which is inside the macro task in the call stack will happen, and it is highlighting here. This is what happening, right? So and timeout got executed, and that's it. And this is how JavaScript works behind the scene. Okay, so this way we will see the variables, operators, what are the corner cases are there, and we will come inside the visualizer and we will see how that code running internally. We will see the complex MCQ questions, console snippets, code snippets, and we will see why it is working that way, and we will understand JavaScript through that. So hope you are enjoyed this one. If you enjoyed this one, do like and share and subscribe, and you can join to my Telegram channel. The link will be provided below. And that's all for today. Thank you. Bye.